Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, September 13th. This is Nadex Morning Analysis. I am Todd Rich with Nadex. With me from Keep Trading Simple is Brian Caprice. We are going to look at hot spots in the markets today. Uh, for hot spots, what we're going to be looking at, we are going to be looking at energy. Energy is moving around a little bit. We'll take a look at oil and nat gas. Sorry, Brian, but nat gas continues to do its jump. It's not even a creep. It's just a jump.
You don't even know me, Todd. You don't even know me. Yeah, up three and a third.
Yikes. All right, and then we're going to take a look at some of the metals, and then lastly, the dollar, the U.S. dollar, seeing some strength. So those are the hot spots we're going to be looking at today. Although the equities are looking to also open in the green. Before Brian and I jump into it, I do need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. And lastly, this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your education purposes. Hey, Brian, you want to share a screen? I just realized we didn't have you turned on quite yet.
It's Monday. It's Monday.
It's Monday. We'll get there. By the way, I was going to bring up while Brian's bringing up his screens. You can see that for today, there really isn't any economic news, particularly to look forward to. But I do want to make sure that we just mention that tomorrow we will be getting some very interesting data at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right before Brian and I go in and kick off tomorrow's session. But we're going to have some inflation data. So that should be entertaining.
It's a big week of inflation data. Pretty much every country, all the large countries have CPI and retail sales almost every day this week.
So this week is going to be an interesting week for all of that data, and that is something that is clearly hot on everyone's mind. So with that, let's go ahead, Brian. I'm going to punch this up here, and let's take a look at energy, at metals. And then we'll take a peek at the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I mean, right now the biggest mover in the currencies is the dollar Swiss. Across the board, you're seeing a bit of dollar strength, which is great because what we've seen in the past is when we have one particular trend for the dollar in the UK session before the U.S. traders stepped online, we tend to have a reversal on Mondays. It's a trend that we've seen again and again and again, and there's a very interesting setup right now in the dollar Swiss. As far as news, Todd mentioned it. We have we do have RBA governor, basically the Australian governor, Lowe, speaking tonight at 10:45. Could be interesting. Some of the data later in the week is hinting and forecasting that there will be a 0.2% increase in unemployment. Again, partially because of the lockdown that Australia had, that 10-day lockdown last month, because they had like 11 cases of COVID in the one area. But early in the morning tomorrow, right before we get to talk, we do have the U.S. CPI numbers month over month. Remember, this is a transient number. By transient, he means that I guess that it's just going to keep going positive but lower. I guess I don't know. Can't help you on there. But remember, the PPI number from last week actually was an increase, so we're paying more. So this could actually be a miss to the top side. That could definitely be a big mover for gold before we talk tomorrow. So watch out for that one. As far as kind of what we're seeing in the charts, oil is the big mover, and it's interesting. Oil early morning today at about 2 o'clock in the morning hit that level that we had seen last week at 40.42. There was a level, there was a level here at 70.64 that we had talked about, and it's been there for a while. It's kind of what that last big spike went off of. And if you look in the morning hours, that's kind of what it did. And this would have been a full 1 to 3 back to the downside, kind of taking profit with the UK session. We're driving up at that level again, and it could be one of those levels that we watch out for. I would say right now a lot of this is driven from we have another storm coming up and hitting the Gulf. Whenever there's not that I think this is it's a tropical storm. I don't think it's shifted to a hurricane yet. You guys can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but it's one of those things. Whenever there's the possibility, right, it's increased levels of risk. It does tend to move prices a little bit. So the fact that oil is
it is a tropical storm, but this one moving more in and taking out things along the coast of Texas.
Yeah, it's more of like a Galveston type hit than like New Orleans, I believe.
Towards New Orleans or something.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's supposed to hit there too, but not at the same strength. I think this is definitely more Texas focused. So again, it is. I would say it is more oil refinery targeted this time, but until it actually gets there, until we hear the damage. But just because it there's that potential there. Again, that's why you're seeing, oil continue to rise up. So, it is at a level, it has bounced off that level. So sellers have stepped in at 70.64, but the US trader has not gotten involved. The UK session has already kind of turned, and then rolled back to the downside. So I would say, I wouldn't be surprised if we do continue this one higher today. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get up to the 71, 74 level. As I said, the trade is already kind of taken off this morning, and typically once a trade happens once and pushes it as deep as it did, you can see your 1 to 3 is right there. So, I mean, it obviously already went through, but it was a nice little setup. So, that's kind of where we're at. But watch these two levels again. Could we get another turn where we are right now? It's possible. I mean, like I said, there are sellers there. If there were not sellers, price would have kept going. The question is, with it being a U.S. Open and a flood of kind of U.S. tradings coming in, is there going to be enough to kind of halt it now? I don't know. I mean, when oil's up right now 1.44%. Meanwhile, its sibling natural gas, which again, there's absolutely no shortage of natural gas, is up 3.83% already. It's up at $5.12. I still have not called the propane guy, but my conversation, I told you guys what it's going to be. In the spring, you told me to wait till the fall; it'll be cheaper, and now it's double the price. So you have cost me how much additional money? What are you going to do for me? So I don't know if he's going to give me free propane or not, but I'm doing it. I'm be like, you told me, and now it's double. So you're a liar. No, it's I can't do that because anymore.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at the. I'm just looking at the short duration binary options.
By the way, guys, because I'm talking about here it is.
I'm looking at the short duration binary options. We've already gone. We've got. That's it. We blew through in the short duration.
Yeah. If I do the same thing for that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Just crazy.
Yeah, $5 and remember, guys, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, if I go back to a weekly chart, this is what it looks like. Right? This is like the highest it's ever been. I guess not. That's not true. I guess in 2014, there was actually a time where it was higher. But like 6. Like, look at this. I mean, it's just been straight up. And again, it's one of those things that we're not in any short supply of natural gas. Right? This is what we've done. I mean, just literally straight up in the air. So, yeah, welcome to my world of look at this. Straight up. Again, big move and then boom. So natural gas is also a big, and now we're up over 4%. 4.11% is what we just hit a second ago. So
this is crazy. This is a parabolic move. It's just how parabolic is it going to go? Go?
And again, knowing your Nadex products, like Todd said, you're out of binaries. But one of the nice things is
I'm going to drop this over here. This is the daily binaries. This is our top daily binary strike. I mean, it's already gone through that, and we're gonna have to wait. Now we will launch more short-term duration ones, but if it's going to move around like this could be interesting. We do have some weeklies that are still up above there.
And this is why it's important to know your products, right? So for today, you can say, oh, man, I've already missed the move for the day. Yeah, and then it's continuing to go higher. Now it's up at 4.6% and still going higher. So as this continues to go, understand that the binaries get printed. Once they're gone, they're gone. But the call spreads, what happens is they break through and the call spread ceilings get taken out. They print new ones that are more in touch with price. So whenever you see something like this gives us some opportunity because, again, as it goes through and it breaks those knockouts out, it gives us more opportunity to get more in touch with kind of where we are versus the short durations. And again, with this big spike, if you can say, hey, listen, this spike is just insane. This is somebody taking advantage of the market. It's time for us to go in there and get short. As soon as this gives me the signal, I'm getting short. We have 5 days worth of knockouts still to go in this one. So you don't have to worry about the expiration days each day. So again, it is one of those things and they do offer it. And it looks like the closest one right now is sitting up. Yeah, you have them right there, right? Yeah, It looks like 525. I don't want to go up to 525. It's right there. There's the closest knockout. So as this continues to go, that's a ceiling. So as we get closer and closer and closer, that one becomes a little bit more, right now it's $84 risk for $416 profit. As that gets closer, if we start getting a topping signal, again, this could be an interesting rollover, particularly if we see like CPI raising too hard and they're starting to kind of smack down the economy. It's a parabolic move, guys. I mean, this is 4.4% in one day is a lot. That's a whole lot for any pair.
It's like as we're watching it, it's a rocket ship taking off.
Yeah. And what goes up does come down typically. So, I would say, that's a big one. And again, because of that, you're watching silver also continuing to drop. If you watched the show last week, I say show, it's a new thing. It's going to be a show. You guys know what this pattern is, right? Yeah, so you guys know this pattern. What happens when it drops down? It bases and then pulls back to a level. You guys know this, and then we punch down. There's the Harry Potter from last week, right? There was the break. There was the target. We just went through it right now. So again, typically we don't necessarily carry these through, but with all the basing here, you can say, all right, I know I was looking for a short of the break there. You can remove this back and say, all right, what do we got? Where do we have big movement? Kind of the same thing, right? We had some basing right in there, and we touched it. You could have used in that level. You could have used this level because this is last week here. This is this week. It opened high. And again, here's your short position. It's the same trade from last week, but more in touch with the new level of basing. So right there, and we bring it to right there. It's more or less the same trade. You want the smaller risk and the smaller target or the one from last week. It doesn't really matter which one. They both dropped, based, and pulled back. Same trade setup. Bigger profit target, smaller profit target, bigger risk, smaller risk. So again, silver's out. Gold just turned red itself, and I would assume gold would follow as well. Silver tends to be the one that is already driving. They see metals, are like, oh my God, it's going down. Gold traders like, I got to get on board with this too. So I would say unless we get some major stabilization really quick here, and we're getting a little bit, we know we had buyers kind of down here for silver. Look for gold. There may be some shorts in gold today. And remember, gold and the dollar kind of battle back and forth. The dollar actually is up a little bit and actually pulling back to a level. The reason why I think that's important to note today in the currency span is because, again, here's the European Open right here. This green candle did nothing but drive straight up. Huge move this morning already, 51 pips. And again, I say huge, doesn't seem like a lot, but it's over an ATR for the dollar Swiss. And it just happened to rotate right into a level we talked about last week at 92.38. And now we're starting to see it push back down. So remember, so far the trend, and you can see it on all of them, this one is red, meaning dollar strength. This just flipped. This one is green, dollar first, green. Dollar CAD's a little bit different again. This is oil.
To roll over, isn't it?
The dollar's starting to roll, and again, we just came off of a level, so there's some some things there that are bouncing around. So again, the trend we've seen is one direction, where the strength or weakness in the morning for the UK session, and then the US trader steps in and reverses it. So a lot of things there, right? A lot of things. Here it is. Yeah, weekly call spreads.
Yeah. He's killing me.
I give him $5 every time he mentions his weekly call spreads. I swear it's not.
I love it. I love it. I think we did cover quite a bit this morning. Brian, is there anything else? I think with that, any questions for Nadex, just please email us, customerservice@nadex.com. Any questions for Brian, hit him up at support@keeptradingsimple.com. And let's just kind of run through what we quickly ran through today. We're seeing the energies seeing some strength, particularly in that nat gas. That thing is just taken off. Oddly, the metals more in the silver getting hammered. Gold maybe make a sympathy move with that. We're not certain, but be looking over there. And then we're seeing there was dollar strength all night long. And then that we're starting to see that roll over. And Brian, I don't know if real quickly, I know the equity indices are all looking to open in the green, which is kind of nice to see. I don't know. Do you want to quickly bring up a chart on any of the indices? Cover one of them, or they're probably looking the same?
They pretty much all look the same. I mean, they're all bouncing off of big levels. You can see that this is the ES. It came down, bounced off the 4450 level. Again, psychological level, formed the stabilization and popped. NQ did the same thing, got almost back down to the 15,400. You can see YM went down right around went a little bit below, about 20 points below the 34,500 mark, and Russell kind of did the same exact thing, found new levels. I would expect it to be green today. Reason why is we had such a red day on Friday. Again, this is kind of the reversal of that starting off the week. The big question, and again, there's no news today, but tomorrow morning, the CPI number is kind of probably what it's preparing for today. Remember, a higher than expected forecast here is good for the dollar, but bad for the overall indices. So if we do nothing but kind of climb back up today and run higher on, it doesn't matter what are the indices. If we come up higher today, it helps people take that short tomorrow if that data is coming in higher than expected, because again, they got to do something. So it's kind of just positioning. Just watch out for it. But I would say today probably looks more of a green day for me. Again, drop it down to a 15-minute chart. Look to see kind of if we're at some levels. And again, we got some space. We'll see if we got to pull back. There is a potential level here if we do pull back. That we could potentially take it off of. Top side, I wouldn't worry too much about. ES, NQ, kind of the same thing. We're kind of clear for a bit. And again, kind of the same thing with the YM. YM may have a little bit more problems. It does have a little bit of a level, but besides that, I think everything else is pretty much clear for the day. Like I said, there's no major news. It is what it is. It's good that the dollar's doing what it's doing. And again, gold is
Okay.
now starting to kind of pick up speed to the downside, which also helps as well. So, and
So yeah,
everything Reddit based right now is red. So,
and I did just drop in that calendar link for tomorrow just to remind everyone. Be on the lookout before Brian and I go on tomorrow morning. There are those CPI numbers, and there might be some volatility and some trading opportunity right before we go on. With that, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning, and we will catch you again tomorrow. Good luck in the markets, everyone.